Hello everyone. So today I wanted to do more of like a rant style video. I'm going to put something on screen. I'm not sure what yet. I'm doing this voiceover in the barn while I'm cleaning stalls. So if you hear any funky sounds, that's what we got going on.
In addition to those funky sounds, there's a really good chance that I'm going to be re-recording a few lines in post because I'm holding my phone in my hand when I recorded this, and I do like scratch the phone every now and then, and it creates this really annoying noise. So I'm going to protect your ears. So I'm really sorry if it's a little distracting that the audio changes in quality a little bit. I'm going to do that as few times as I possibly can, but I am going to re-record some audio when there's absolutely no other option.
Now, I wanted to talk about something that has been brought up a lot over the course of StarStable's history and, as of recent, because StarStable's last update, depending on when they post this, maybe last few updates, who knows, have been so lackluster, and there's been like nothing. There's no content in the game. There's nothing for players to do right now. And I don't know if players are like quitting StarStable more than normal. All I know is that the server on which I play, the population, like I see new names every now and then, not too often, but like I never see them again. And like the server population never grows. And either I'm not logging on at the right time, or they just don't on my server host role plays anymore, or like, there aren't any like community related events. Like there's a show maybe once a week, like a flat show or something, and then I never see roles. I remember like way back in the day, there would be roles all the time. Like
You were tripping over roleplay advertisements to find a club advertisement or a show. So it's so weird not seeing these advertisements anymore.
that's not the point of what I'm saying. Okay, let me get back to the main point. I'm rambling. I guess that was the point of this video. So, because there's nothing to do in StarStable, something that's been proposed over and over again throughout the years, not just as of recent, is adding breeding into StarStable to have some kind of game loop. And while I agree that StarStable needs a game loop, I severely disagree. I super strongly disagree with breeding being that loop. I think that is never going to be added to the game, and I'm perfectly happy that it never will. So, before we talk about any of the logistics of that, let's just talk about the glaring issue. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, okay? If you add breeding into StarStable with our current chat filter and our current political environment in StarStable, if you will, how are you going to protect children from talking to creeps? If you're going to allow breeding in the game, you're going to have to update your chat filter to allow people to talk about breeding, right?
And if you don't, then everyone's going to get frustrated. Honestly, I'd much rather have that than allowing kids talk about breeding. That is absolutely ridiculous.
And the chat filter's already bad enough as it is. You can straight up say, and I'm quoting here because I don't like to cuss in my videos because I try to make them family friendly and I try to come off as a very friendly and approachable person. But you can straight up say giggle shit, okay? Like, you can just straight up cuss. And oh no, there was a string left in my horse's hay last night. Thank God he didn't eat it. I'm a bad mom. So, anyway, you can just straight up cuss in the game, which is ridiculous. And literally by saying like, pet the horse, brush the horse, after any sentence.
And it'll allow anything you say through the filter. That is a
hallmark of AI. Like, StarStable I doubt they even made their own chat
filter or even made any edits to it.
They put it in an AI prompt and said, hey, code please, spit out the result, and then just use that without any field testing. So we cannot, hi kitty, We cannot have a game that enables breeding of horses and animals in a game where kids are so prevalent. Now, let's talk about Ranch of Rivershine for a minute. Honestly, I might use Ranch of Rivershine as my visual. I love that game. I'm addicted. That game has breeding, and honestly, when they added colors and different coat variations, it entirely messed up the game loop and made it more about breeding than the exploration with your horse, to the point where I think that just adding breeding to any games just ruins it, because then it's all about breeding and nothing else. It's about getting the horse with the most unique color or the best stats or whatever. And that's what I'm doing in Ranch of Rivershine right now, is like, I completed all the things. I think I still have a few more chests to find, but I'm just breeding horses for the colors at this point. Like, it's ridiculous. So to then add that to StarStable, what do you think that's going to be? Yeah, you're going to get a gameplay loop, but it's going to be one that, first of all, you can't even sell horses anymore. So you're, again, like I said in my original take when I talked about StarStable removing the sell a horse feature, you're going to have stables overflowing with horses that people don't want with no way to get rid of them. You're also going to ruin the economy of StarStable, because you need to... How does StarStable make their money? Right? Star coins. Okay. Well, if you can breed horses, then there's no longer a need for the economy. There's no longer a need for star coins, because I'm tired of this horse. Let me just breed another one and I'll use that one now. Like, then what do you think's going to happen to StarStable's sales? Yes, you're going to see a temporary jump because people are going to be very interested in that update. People are going to flock back to the game. But then what happens when the hype has died? Your core audience, your core fans are going to be less likely to spend money. And do you guys know what happens if StarStable doesn't make money? StarStable is running on servers. Servers need to be paid for. If StarStable isn't making money, they can't pay for the servers, and suddenly StarStable doesn't exist anymore. So they need to make money. They need to succeed. And that's why I'm so hard on StarStable, because I love the game and I've spent so much money on the game that I want to see it succeed so I don't lose all that money and have a major crash out. So with that in mind, again, back to my original point that I kind of danced around. If you add breeding, you have to actually install a chat filter, like a good one that's made by humans and not by AI. Please actually do that. I'm begging. But you would have to do that, because then you'd have kids talking to strangers. Like, StarStable needs to take more than 10 minutes on making a chat filter. They need to actually do it, you know? And I feel like an AI chat filter could work, but only if you specify all of the conditions. And I don't think they did. I think they just said, ban cuss words. If it sounds like they're talking about personal information, remove it. Okay, have fun. But, like, the problem with that is it completely destroyed role plays. Like, I was trying to do a role play where my character, like, stole a horse and he's, like, pushing the horse to run and the horse is getting mad at him. So the horse is, like, you know, like grunting and, like, reaching back and trying to bite his feet to get him off. And I'm trying to do that and make this whole dramatic scene. And then it, like, blocked the whole thing. And I don't even know why in hindsight, because, like, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get that message through. So I ended up having, like, no dramatic scenes or whatever in my role. And that was so upsetting. So, like, so it's just so infuriating, that chat filter. But you know what that chat filter does? Does it, you know, stop people from giving away their personal information at least? Does it stop kids from cussing, revealing where they live, or telling strangers their Discords or phone numbers? Oh, absolutely not. No, it doesn't. What it does is
Blocks everybody's ability to roleplay. It allows people to cuss And you can give out Discords and Instagrams and all other kinds of usernames. It allows people to say destructive things while killing creativity.
So I can't say the horse reached back and bit his foot, but I can say, giggle shit, give me your Discord, this one's mine, let's talk off of StarStable. Like, one of these is much more dangerous than the other. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. And I know that people are always going to find a way to give each other their personal information. If you then add a breeding implement, if you implement breeding into the game, there we go, English, then what is going to happen to that chat filter? Again, either you're never going to be able to talk about that in the game, or what's more likely to happen, you're going to bring more attention to the idea of breeding and rated R activities and normalize talking about it. And if you normalize talking about breeding in a kid's game, what do you think is going to be easier to do? Exactly. Groom children. Like, it's... If StarStable ever adds breeding, I think I'm gonna quit. If I haven't already. Like, that's awful. And look at every other game that has breeding and stat-based, or breeding that has a stat base to it. What's that called? Like stat line breeding? Yeah. Okay. So if you have like, color breeding or stat line breeds, what do you think's going to happen? Nobody's going to be playing the game. Everybody's going to be in the stable, pairing horses together, doing like chemistry level science, trying to figure out what horses paired together make the best stats and colors and stuff like that. Which again,
is technically content for your game.
but look at every other game that's added that. Let's look at Ranch of Rivershine. Let's look at a lot of servers for Red M, for Red Dead. Let's look at what else? There are a few, and off the top of my head. Rival Stars, things like that. There's a browser. It used to be a browser game called Horse. There's that. Like, off the top of my head, are there any other horse games? My Riding Stables. Things like that. All of these games are no longer about bonding to, I guess, My Riding Stables was never about like bonding to your horse. That was more of a business game. But you get my point. It's no longer about like bonding to a horse and exploring the environment and all kinds of stuff like that. It's about breeding for the best. And yes, that is a game play style, and that is a way that you can play, but I don't know. I don't like it.
And I know I'm not the only one who doesn't like this.
But it would ruin the whole point of StarStable and what StarStable initially was. I think the addition of other horses at all, granted, it saved the game, and because once you're done with your quest, that's kind of it, right? Having different horses or whatever. But, I mean, StarStable initially is a game about, someone who shows up to a riding camp, sees that there's a lot more going on, joins the Star Riders, and bonds, like, to this magic horse almost. Like, your starter horse is, like, your first bond, and it's special. So the addition of all these other horses and being able to ride different horses on quest lines is, like, it kind of ruins that, So it's just... But I hate to suggest and be like, no, don't add this, don't add that, and be super negative without proposing some kind of an alternative, right? Because I think breeding should never be considered in StarStable. I think that's dumb. I think that it would ruin the gameplay loop. I think it would invite predators to talk to kids. I think it's just gross, right? However, StarStable has done a lot of things that people were excited about, and they fell short. Why not expand upon those ideas that people have already proven to enjoy? My prime example would be mounted archery. Give us a bow and arrow that we can keep in our inventory. Actually let us shoot the bow at the targets. Don't just give us like a when the target lines up with the crosshair, click once. That's boring, right? But give us an actual bow and arrow so we can run around like Merida, allow us to like have apples on some of the trees, and like, you know, you can take aim and like shoot the apples, and if you hit it successfully with your typical aiming, like, you know, like a shooter game like Red Dead, you pull back the bow, you release, and then if you shoot the apple, then you get a free apple for your horse or something like that. You know, like have things that are only interactable through getting them either with magic or a bow. I get that there's magic in the game and that we have wands and stuff like that, but like, then give us a reason to use it outside of the main quest. If you don't want it to be a bow, let it be magic or something. But I think a bow would probably be easier to implement, because think about it, like with a real bow, I used to shoot archery competitively for the state in which I live. I shot for about 5 years, and I was really good. Not gonna lie, I was really good. My trainer was an Olympian who won the Olympics several times. Like, I was taught by the best. And you can only hold a draw for so long, at least Mediterranean style. That's what I shot. I shot Mediterranean recurve 40 pounds, and I did very well. But so the thing is, you can only hold a draw so long, because you're not really meant to hold that draw. I think the longest I've held a draw has been like 20 seconds, and then I drop. So a bow is a weapon that's supposed to be quick-fired, because pulling back takes a lot of strength and a lot of effort. It's a lot of, it's pectoral muscles, it's back muscles, it's, oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher this. Which one's under your arm? That's biceps, right? Tris on top, bis on the bottom. Whichever one's on the bottom. It's all those muscles, right? Trying to pull back that bow. It's hard. So maybe have like, you can only sustain a steady aim for like a second, right? And then you have bow wobble, and it steadily gets worse as you hold the bow longer. Maybe give your character some visible shake, have your character's face look uncomfortable. You drop the bow and you have to reset, or you have like a stamina bar where you have to wait like 20 seconds to recover before you can pull the bow back again. And then have it to where the more you shoot, have a little, like, you know how in what is it? Like the Trailblazers, you have those progress bars, and like the more you do, the higher it gets. Do that for archery. Have it, you know, the more you hold back the bow, you get towards this milestone, being able to hold the bow back longer. Or every time you hit an actual target and you don't miss, you increase your accuracy. So your accuracy and your duration of holding the bow back can increase. And then have it where, you know, you can use the bow anywhere, but like, obviously you can't shoot players. It would go through players, but that'd be so fun for role players. You'd be able to give us a medieval weapon, like a fantasy theme. Like, we already have jousting rods. Why won't you give us a bow? Like, if we wanted to do a role play of us unhorsing each other with the jousting sticks, we can already do that. Give us a bow. What's the issue at this point, right? Like, I think that would be so amazingly fun. And that could be something that's just so passive and just in the game. It'd be so fun. And then you can even incorporate it into quests, because all the quests that we have right now is click. It's run to this destination. It is run through these poles. It is press space to get over this obstacle. It is click this thing. That is the only gameplay elements in StarStable at all, period, full stop. No matter what activity you are doing, no matter what quest, race, or whatever, that is what you are doing. That's it. So if you implement a bow where you have to left click to hold up the bow, hold right click to pull back the string, release right click, and you hit the target, you know, at least that's something different and new. And it's something that I think would go a very long way. And you know what else would be cool? Since we're on the topic of the medieval camp and the jousting, allow us to joust each other. Allow us to take aim with the jousting stick and allow us to joust each other. Maybe don't have it to where we can gamble because that's bad for kids, but have it to where like the winner gets 5 Jorvik shillings or something. And or they stand on a pedestal and like their horse rears and they cheer and there's confetti or something. Who cares? But like, have it to where it's a point system. So there'd be like 3 rounds, and you want to unhorse them, but like, what are the rules of jousting? Like if you break the jousting stick, you get points. If you fall off, you'll win, or the other guy wins, obviously. If things like that. But like if you hit the other person's horse, you like lose automatically because we don't want to promote animal abuse. But some kind of jousting system. Not only would that be fun just to whack your friends off their horses, that would just be hilarious. But it would again add another aspect to the game that's actually interactive. Have like, as you're running, you have to, click and hold the end of the jousting stick to have it aim exactly where you want. And the closer you get, the harder it is to aim or something, like some kind of little mini game to then affect how you hit the other person. I think that'd be so cool. What else? Allow us to just passively fish too. Like, I know StarStable is adding fishing in Dundal within the upcoming days or so, but what's the point in adding new fishing spots if we can't just passively, whenever we want, just go and fish, right? Allow us to, how we have all the plants around Jorvik? Allow us to, when we're either picking up the plants or if we want to dig nearby or on the ground or give us a shovel or something, or, whenever we do anything like that, give us a chance, or in hollow woods even, like when you run through the little leaf piles, give us a chance to find different types of bait, So we could have like worms, grubs, crickets, what else? Come on now. Things like that. Flies, like you could whack a deer or a horse fly off your horse and use that as bait. Horse flies are good bait, and things like that. To then grasshoppers even, to use as fishing bait. And depending on the type of bait, you would get a certain type of fish. And we know StarStable has different types of fish if you've completed the fishing quest, and have some that are of different difficulties, and like give like a trophy system for if you can catch all the fish, you get a trophy, and have some of the fish be like super easy and then some of them be super hard, and allow us to sell them, give us another way to make Jorvik shillings. Have like the easiest fish to sell be like, what, 5 star coins? 5? No, not star coins. 5 Jorvik shillings. And then have the hardest one be like 500, and then have all of them in a range between that. Or if you want to be stingy, make the best fish only cost like 300 or even 200 Jorvik shillings, like as much as a championship. But I think if it's that cheap, then people won't want to do it, But I think that'd be so cool. Then fishing actually has a point, because StarStable keeps adding it to all of their events, and they just recently updated the way that you fish. Personally, I think it should be further updated and be made more interactive, but
by giving us a bait system and allowing us to catch fish whenever we feel like.
Give us like a trophy system and a leaderboard or something, just something for people to be like, oh, if I fish, I can get a unique tack set, or it's just a way to get money so I could buy new tack sets. Don't put a daily limit on it, because right now it's talk to Mr. Cod, fish one time at that one place, and then that's it for the day. Like, I don't want to be limited to doing one activity one time per day. StarStable kind of fixed that with allowing some races to be repeated more than once, which is nice. It's nice, but that's like such a repetitive task. Like, at least with fishing, there'd be some variability. The fish would be different. Maybe I miss it and I can't reel it in time. Maybe my line snaps. Things like that. Versus, all right, you've done the race around Fir Grove 20 times. The 21st time is going to be just the same as the previous 20. Go have fun and get your 250 experience. Like, that is such a buzzkill to me. I cannot do the repeat races. I don't do them at all. Just because I've done them so much. Oh my gosh, it's such a buzzkill. Oh my gosh, and instead of champs, have, obviously still have champs, but have like mounted archery competitions where you have to run through an obstacle course, and while you're doing it, shoot the targets, and whoever, like, don't even have it whoever does it the fastest, have it like whoever gets, I guess fastest can be factored, whoever did it like the fastest with the highest amount of points wins, but obviously like have like a line graph to compare the two, and you know, best time and best score overall wins. That'd be so cool. Yes, that's kind of like the race series in Red Dead Online, but not quite, you know? The point is, this game could be so cool. Like, StarStable could be absolutely amazing. And it's just a shame to me that people's creativity ends with breeding, you know? Like, I've been in the barn for what, half an hour? And in my half an hour of thinking about the game, scooping horse crap, I thought of 3 ideas that StarStable could implement, and they wouldn't even be that difficult because most of the assets that I'm talking about are already in the game. But anyway, 2026 started off really great with the Connemeras. Oh my God, what was that? StarStable started out great in 2026 with the Connemeras. Oh my God. But then they kind of fell off the wagon with the new quest literally just being, hey, look at this landslide. Anyway, we're giving it to you next week. So if you have any ideas like this, if you have any ideas for StarStable, propose them in this video, send them to StarStable, send this video to StarStable, send this video to whoever. I want to get more attention to it. I want to see if we can twist StarStable's ear and have them actually listen to their audience. They've been good about it, but I think that they need to I think they're running out of ideas themselves. I think we need to help them out. We need to tell StarStable what we want to see in the game. And it might not happen, but if StarStable ever dies, we can just point and laugh and be like, we told you. We had a bunch of ideas. You just didn't use them, you know? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that archery, like freestyle archery, jousting your friends, do you think that, you know, actual immersive fishing and stuff like that would be cool? Because this is stuff you see in other horse games, you know, so it's not like it doesn't work. What do you guys want to see? You know, let's brainstorm some ideas. At some point, I'm going to be sending a bunch of emails to StarStable with ideas. I doubt they'll ever read them or respond, but I just want to get some out there just to say that, you know, we tried, right? Anyway, that's been it from me. If you guys have any ideas, please comment them below. Tell me if you do or don't like my ideas. Tell me what you have. Like, I want to know what people are thinking. Anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you when I see you.